just south of Charlotte, you'll find the Jungle Aviation and Relay Service. They've got their own little museum next to the Museum of the Alphabet. And we found out it is a huge pilot and aircraft maintenance training facility, as well as a jungle aviation service. But the organization started simply because of the need to get missionaries back into the bush, basically where some of these unreached people live. So it's really a fascinating organization, and the museum is worth a visit. It's right next to the Museum of the Alphabet. I think the Museum of the Alphabet is actually a spin-off of the JAARS organization and the museum, because with all the translating of Bibles and working with people of different languages, I'm just making an assumption, but I think that's where the Alphabet Museum came from. Most of what they're doing in the museum is just showing where all the different languages came from and how they intertwined. And I've got my wife who's going to help explain. She was really fascinated with the museum, so I asked her to help me explain what we saw there.
Yeah, this museum was actually recommended to us by a family member, and it has since become one of my top favorite museums in the world. And strangely enough, it's not even signposted very well or advertised very well. But there you go. The tree that we are coming to right now is a tree that shows the common source for all the world's alphabets: the picto-ideographic writing of the ancient Near East, Mesopotamian cuneiform, and Egyptian hieroglyphics. These, though not strictly alphabetic, led to the first alphabet, the Semitic. Interestingly for me, the tree to the far right represents Chinese writing, which is not alphabetic. And you can see near the bottom there that there are some languages that have already died off early on, such as the Aztecs and their related languages in that area. Interestingly, the main trunk shows us that most of our modern languages writing alphabet, such as the Greek and Roman alphabets, came from the main trunk. However, Chinese is a separate trunk by itself, standing off to the side, where Japanese and Korean branch off. But strangely enough, Korean also has influence from North Indian alphabet. At about the time of the Hebrew exodus from Egypt, some unknown person or persons created a much simpler system than the complicated picture writing of cuneiform and Egyptian hieroglyphics. This method used symbols to represent the consonant sounds of Semitic languages. And so, the Semitic system became the first true alphabet, a system of symbols used to represent the sounds of a spoken language in history, and is the ancestor for all the world's alphabets. There is also a fascinating section on the Dead Sea Scrolls and how to be a paleographer. So when the Dead Sea Scrolls were first discovered, everyone wanted to know, how old are the Dead Sea Scrolls? And here we have a picture of a slide rule. Each horizontal row on the slide rule shows a particular letter of the Hebrew alphabet as it was written at various times during the history of writing. This has been pivotal in helping us to verify the accuracy of the Old Testament, and also to show how faithfully the scriptures have been preserved and passed down to us.
Yeah, it's neat to see how they can accurately date those things by the shape of the letters. I was fascinated with this Korean alphabet and the origin of it, because this guy was really scientific about the way that he did this, by shaping the letters based on like the position of the tongue and like basically a diagram of the face as you're talking. I thought that was pretty fascinating.
And friend, you are invited. Betrothal made, the dowry paid, and
Settle down, you finger-picking, bluegrass-singing people. Honestly, the most remarkable thing about the Billy Graham Library and just looking into this guy, you know, I grew up in the late 70s and 80s when he was very prominent in America and around the world. And I can't even count how many times I've seen people try to copy, imitate, plagiarize all of this Billy Graham, the phrases, the words that he used, and the methods that he had, just trying to catch a little bit of that success. And I'm just, the one thing that I want to say about this guy is if you want to copy him, copy his heart for all people, male, female, black, Asian, any person, every human being in his mind, in his heart. He had to reach everyone and tell them how much Jesus really loves them. So if we're going to copy anything, we need to copy that. So that being said, having gone to the JAARS Museum and then to Billy Graham, I realized that they're really quite similar in their outreach and trying to reach people, you know, and translate the Bible and reach all around the world. And Billy Graham also, here's a picture of, I think, Michael W. Smith. He was huge. When I was growing up, I remember Jerry Falwell and these kind of guys that were just, I'll save my comments on them, but they were saying that this Christian music is evil and so the devil and all this kind of stuff. Billy Graham was the guy that was supporting and promoting and bringing those people into his stadiums to promote them in front of 100,000 people. Here we have some footage from this is something that's raw in my memory, the Cold War and the Berlin Wall. He really had a great influence. One of the displays there said that he was the first Christian evangelist to visit Russia after the wall came down in 1992. And there was over 100,000 people in attendance, and I think something like 25% of them came forward to the altar call. This next picture was kind of interesting. I estimated the year that this photo would have been taken in Minneapolis, and it could have literally been the same time when I was going to school in that window right there at Minneapolis Technical School. So at the end of the tour, you come to the bookstore here, and on this day it was filled with teal shirts from all the Chosen fans visiting the Billy Graham Library before Chosen Con. So after this, we ran off to Chosen Con. There's a whole nother video covering the recap of that if you want to see it. So folks, fill your oil, trim your lamp. We are on the doorstep, I know it. Keep looking up. He's coming back soon.